to say for sure. Knowing exactly when something's going to happen is harder than knowing that it will happen. But we've got a much bigger collapse coming, and not just of the markets, but of the economy. Something that it's like what you're seeing in Europe right now, only worse.
And, okay, so what's that look like? I mean, the pain is coming. We know the policies that are going to get there. What should people be expecting beyond this generalized horrible economy? Are there specifics you have for me? Housing values going down again, the stock market crashing?
Yeah, well, I'd say if you want to try to look at a most likely time frame, and of course it's always hard to anticipate future variables that are beyond your control, but I would say the U.S. economy continues to weaken towards the end of the year, and the Fed ultimately comes through with QE3. It doesn't work.
The conclusion of the report is this, quote, absent policy changes, the federal government continues to face an unsustainable fiscal path. Let me repeat that. Absent policy changes, the federal government continues to face an unsustainable fiscal path.
So we've made a complete system, which we call the Mighty 90, and there's like 25 different ways to get that, depending on, people have allergies to shellfish, or they've got allergies this, that, and the other. So we've come up with 25 different ways to cover every known eventuality. So we've made a complete system, which we call the Mighty 90, and there's like 25 different ways to get that, depending on, people have allergies to shellfish, or they've got allergies this, that, and the other. So we've come up with 25 different ways to cover every known eventuality, whether they like liquids or capsules or whatever. We've covered all these things in what we call the Mighty 90. We assure them that they're going to get optimal, in many cases, 8,000 times, or 16,000 times, or 30,000 times the minimum data requirement. Because when you have a disease which is debilitating you to the point where doctors have got you on pharmaceuticals, they want to cut your knees out and put in artificial knees, people don't want to wait a year to be healed. And so what we've learned is to use a bigger hammer, and I call it, and to give them mega doses of nutrients to the point where we can rebuild joints, we can rebuild the cartilage. I've had people who've got their meniscus has been surgically removed because of terrible accidents. They've all torn up. They've surgically removed these, and we've rebuilt them, because surgeons are sloppy. They always leave a couple of stem cells for me, and I can get to them and rebuild the cartilage, rebuild the meniscus. I do this all the time with these raw materials. And so we've learned over 33 years a lot. And so we use a heavy hammer so that within 3 to 6 weeks, people are saying, I can't believe this. I mean, I was on medication for 40 years. I'm off my medication now after 3 weeks. People who are all gnarled up with rheumatoid arthritis, it took a year, but their fingers are all straightened up and they can play the piano now.
What happened was that I haven't had diabetes for 20 years, and I was progressively getting lower and lower and lower with my energy. I couldn't hardly walk. I came to the last convention just bent over with a cane. It was so bad, and they had told me, the doctors, they're going to cut my leg off in December 15th exactly. So Dr. Wallach, when we merged together with Longevity, I was with FDI, and when we merged together, he said, you are not going to lose your foot. And so I said, oh man, and I didn't believe in lotions and potions and pantyhose and all this stuff. I thought, oh no, don't give me false hope, okay? But then on 5 weeks on a regimen, he told me to eat certain things, take certain food supplements, and all, and I did. Pretty soon my black foot that was all decayed and gangrene and bleeding and all turned white. I could get up and start walking again. Every time I took a step, there wasn't blood coming out of my foot. Everything was great. My blood sugar was up 375, 450 all the time. They brought it down to 95, 105, okay? They in diabetic terms, we had my A1C, it was up to 12 and a half, 13, dropped all the way down to 7. Okay, now that happened in 6 weeks. And so I've continued to do this. I was wearing diabetic boots and shoes, and I couldn't hardly walk. I looked like a robot. Now I'm wearing cowboy boots, having a good time, lots of energy. It's very emotional.